Hello, and welcome to my updated Fugue writing tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to, over the course of 5 days, write the most complex fugue known to mankind. We're talking the incorporation of C Sound, Visual Studio, Finale, which is recently outdated and obsolete, and my new website, www.atonalfugue.net. This fugue will attempt to combine, well, not attempt, I've done it before. It'll combine tonal harmony with serial set pitch class arrays that also modulate. This is kind of like a new thing in music, giving curvature like you would not believe to music. It's all about them curves and how music spins. I've worked extremely hard on bringing this theory to the earth, so to speak, and I'm happy and delighted to share it with you here. So, to begin with, go to atonalfugue.net and get that warmed up while I pull up the plan here. So, we're going to start here. This is where we're at. We're going to today define the fugue DNA using atonalfugue.net. This is going to generate a MIDI sound file. It'll compose a pre-compiled fugue for you every time. It is random, and I'd say it's a unique fugue every time, though the difference might be subtle, but if you do it enough times, the difference becomes more great. We're going to generate a subject transformations based on Carahusa's pitch set from Elegy at Rondo for alto saxophone and piano. Now, looking at this pitch set, you can see it's 0, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and it closely relates to the Dorian scale. It's a very derelict sounding pitch set. If it were a scale, it would be a pretty derelict scale, which is interesting because Carahusa was writing Elegy at Rondo about a country he couldn't return to, his loss of his home, his loss of everything. It's just so horrifying. I listened to this and got homesick and had to call mom. But 0, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 is very closely related to the Dorian scale, if you look at it. Imagine the Dorian sound being kind of somber mood, where it's countryside, a little rustic, might see a torn down barn. You listen to this scale, and it's like the most gut-wrenching sound you've ever heard. Imagine that same barn with a werewolf living in it. That's what derelict mean, I guess, or run down or whatever. So we're going to generate a subject and transformations today. And we'll see how far on the list we can get. Of course, we won't do this today in Visual Studio. We won't do this today in C Sound. We'll do this where we write a fugue. This video is probably going to be an hour long. If you don't like complex, overly complicated music, this video is not for you, but you're welcome to stick around. You write music, people tell you to keep it simple. Well, sometimes you just gotta let it out a little, bring out the cannons. So eventually, toward the end of the process, we'll get to Audacity. We'll play with the EQ, and as a surprise, we'll go to Suno and see what AI does. Yes, AI. Oh no, not AI. Suno AI is pretty incredible. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I don't need AI, but it's really fun. So we'll see what AI how it reacts to the music. You want AI to fully adopt your music, and I'll show you some of the tricks that I know about AI, including in the prompt. Neo-romantic, for example, is very powerful, and I'll show you some of my prompt styles. Final mastering and export, and maybe we'll go through the publishing process to get it out to your listening ears. So, with that said, I generated a report on Husa's Elegy at Rondo. The original pitch set is 0124689. Basically, if you go to my website, www.atonalfugue.net, come down here, put in the pitch set. So we got these pitches here. Copy that, put that in here, transform set, boom. We got it transformed. Come down here, generate a report, and it'll create what we're looking at right now, which is this set right here, 0124689. Yeah, so we have 7 pitches, 7 unique, range 9 semitones. So we'll look here at the basic set analysis and look at the super complement. So you got pitch range of 0 to 9. Mean pitch is 4, which is E natural. Median pitch is 4, which is in the middle. We'll come down here. Not to be confused with tonal center, median pitch, but it could be used as a tonal center, but it's not the tonal center. The interesting thing that I found about this set is that it is interpreted as tonal, which is not the case because it is completely serial. It's not atonal, but it sounds tonal, and it's got a tonal sound to it. But Husa is very interesting because when he composes music, he writes serialism as if it were tonal music. He writes serialism as if it's tonal music. He uses all the practice, and when I write serialism, I go for tonal quality, but in today's tutorial, I might look for a way to incorporate some of Mason's teaching and fugal writing into the fugue. So, the other thing that I found is that the set does not revolve. So you can transform it and boom, it just gets stuck here at 0, 2, 4, 6, 7, 10, 11. And that means a lot to me because it really doesn't have a point of origin. It doesn't return to, normally, like if you do 0, 4, 6, 11, and you modulate it, if you modulate it enough, it'll come back to 0, 4, 6, 11. But that's not the case with Husa's pitch set. If you keep transforming it, it just stops revolving, which is very effective because he's writing about a home that you can't come back to. Other interesting things about it, we can activate the fractal system, come down here, all the way to the bottom, and you can see how the pitches relate to each other. You got some harmonic things here happening when it's close to the pitch center, and in between intervals, you can see it's in a gravity well. You can see how the pitches spiral out in relation to the pitch center, and it's just interesting to see the spirals, the spiraling quality of it. We can go to the other visualization. After I refresh this, we can go to the other visualization, update the pitches here. We can see how it works in time and space. Slow that down a bit. 0 to pitch center. We can see how it, the gravity wells and how it affects the gravity around it, or so to speak, the gravity, metaphorically speaking. When we talk about music, we can talk about its gravity and tension and how all that kind of plays a role. You can see the harmonics operating pretty well. See how it affects the space around it. And whatnot. Very cool. So we have this pitch set from Karahusa. We'll transform that. Then we get 0, 1, 3, 5, all that. We'll add that to our notes. I wish I could disable notifications, but I don't know how to do that. So let's see. We have 3 sets to work with. Each modulated. So what do you mean by modulated, David? What do you mean by modulated? Okay, so you got 0, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, which is the original pitch set, but you can transform the array to create a curve in music. So you got 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 11. So that's a natural curve in the music. And then the curve to 0, 2, 4, 6, 7, 10, 11. That's another natural curve to music. You notice how it's not random. Why did this pitch go up? And why did some pitches go down? Most of the pitches went up, it looks like. So why did 8 stay 8 here and then become 10 there? Well, it's a curve, Why did 6 become 7 and then 7 becomes 7? I don't know, maybe it's because it's 6, 7. Why did 4 become 5 and then 5 becomes 6? Why are those just moving in 1 sequences and then 2, 3, 4 and then 1, 1, 2? It's a curve in music. And, if you have any questions about how I came up with this process, or if you want to know the process, just let me know. I'm an open book when it comes to my theory. I would love to share that with you. So, it's, this is always important. Well, important. I don't know. I find it interesting, the temporal metrics. So you have temporal coupling when you get total serialism, and you start deriving temporal rhythms based on your pitch matrix. This is where I go to find inspiration for that. And you've got a 7 on the rhythm complexity scale, and you've got a 1.5 in temporal fractal dimension frequency spectrum. So if you play the notes fast enough, you might get these 2 frequencies or something like that. So we've got the pitch classes. Let's go all the way over to finale. And we will set up a new document. And we'll call it Complexity Fugue by David Harper. Leave out the copyright information. We'll hide key signature. We'll make sure that we'll do that. And then boom, we've got our score here. With that said, we will work closely with our matrix here. Wish there was a way to keep this on top. I don't remember. Let's see. So we got 0, 1, 2, 4, 6, 9. So we'll plot that out in style of Mason. So you got 0. I know. You're starting on 0. That's so boring, but just bear with me, okay? This thing's gonna get complicated. And then you got 8, and then you got 9. So this is what Kurohusa made. It's kind of bluesy, isn't it? And then the second set that he made, just to hear the relationship. 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. And then you've got 0, 2, 4, 6, 7, 10, 11. So all those sounds, they sound kind of abstract, but when you start weaving them together, you can come up with some of the most gut-wrenching, I didn't see that, gut-wrenching music that has been ever been created. And by that, I mean very emotional, has a lot of emotional depth to them. You know, it's just a beautiful style of music that Arnold Schoenberg had created. So let's play around with this a little bit, you know. Let's make some speckles here. You know, horn players do not like this accompaniment or whatever. Make it D flat. And I'm using from the second cycle 0, 1, 2. I just want to make a simple accompaniment. Here's 4 from the first set, 6, and then 9. That's gonna drive me crazy. Okay. So comfort kind of matters. I know. I hear John Williams laughing at me. So you got concert D piano. I don't know. Garrison did such an amazing job on these finale sounds. It's amazing. I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but it's easy to be distracted by the beauty and all that. I also like the human playback of the 21st century. My channel broke. I think it was my channel. It's already starting to sound musical, isn't it? So with that said, let's get some repetition. And that is a D natural. So I know, fugues start with a subject usually. I'm just jumping in, I'm writing the counter subject right off the bat. So you got that. Let's throw in 0, 2, 4. Nice cluster chord there. 0, 2, 4, 6. And then follow that up with 7, 10, 11. Another cluster chord. Okay. So we'll take that. I know, why you copy and pasting. But if we hear it at a fugue tempo, which is like 552, it's got a lot of character in it, you know. Let's say this were an inversion. Keep that in original. You know, I'm kind of loose with serialism, which is cool. You know, we'll drop this down. This is what I'm hearing. We'll erase this, turn this into a half note. That needs to be 3 beats. Balance it out. And we'll give it a nice little lilt to start on. Just bear with me. We're not going to revolve around 0, which is kind of cool. A little octave displacement. This is actually supposed to be a C sharp. That makes better sense because it's a far-reaching chord. 3, 5, 7, 8, 11. So that's our next. You know, let's just say that we have from that motive. You know, and we want to carry over sometimes too. Seven to the 8. We'll bring this down to G. Tie that over. And then a nice triplet kind of sounds good here. So we'll triple 5. Give it very asymmetrical phrasing, or symmetrical actually. This is going to be very symmetrical. So 6. 4, 7. So we'll start there. Play a 0, 2, 4. Right there, right before we get to this chord, and kind of splits off, kind of merging the set here. And then It goes to a 7. We'll wait the melody toward the end there. Boom. Complete the phrase. And call that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 5-bar phrase. Wow. So if we mute this, we can hear the melody. I love that effect at the end. It's so declarative. Alright. So let's unmute it. Kind of get a sense of what we're working with here. I mean, it might not be pretty, but... Yeah, that C right there is really, really powerful. So, one thing I learned is that when you add dynamics, it kind of reveals what you're going for. Add articulation. I want these to be kind of staccato, but not too staccato, if you know what I mean. There we go, staccato. Nice. You know what? So good, I think we'll recycle it. And by recycle, I mean reuse. Alright, remember that CDE on beat 2. Because that's kind of like a character flare. CDE. CDE, move copy layers. Boom. What's the CDE? Yo. Yeah, we'll give that one a marcato flare. Marcato, because it's kind of cheeky. People are going to be like, why is that there? Yeah, it's kind of got a rhythmic flare. It kind of falls flat right here. But we'll come back to that. We'll see what we can develop in that. Right here, I want it to be something along the lines of that. Something along the lines of that. Where in the texture you have this moving line. Four. That just kind of reminds you of what we're working with. Some of these thirds in there. 5, 7. Want these to be tenuto. Why not? I'm just kind of feeling a marcato here. Or whatever that thing is called. Okay, so. Yeah, it's swinging. And then right here, just gravity. Yeah. So this is gonna take this tenuto thing and just follow it through. All right, so now we need a counter melody. And I want to take advantage of these scrunchy chords. Okay, never mind. Let's take this, move, copy, layer 1 to layer 2. So we have yeah, so if you recognize that, that's from the Raven that I've written. It's pretty cool. I love this melody, this motive. But anyway, keeping up with the rolls. Let's take it down an octave so that people can actually play it, you know. Yeah, so what about all this AI thing, man? I think AI is incredible, but I don't understand the hate. There's really enough hate in the world. Better things to hate on, or not, right? I can't believe the words coming out of my mouth. I'm just saying AI is quite innovative and fun. I don't know why anyone would want to ruin that enjoyment. 3. And this one's gonna go. It's just kind of creeping along. But I want to keep that constant. It's almost like it's ice skating. Look at that nice enharmonic tone. I love it when notes touch. Let's see. The other one was C. I want that one to come down. And let's put a tie on this just to kind of suspend time a bit. That's beautiful. So, we're not done here. Alright. That was kind of cool. I don't know. Nice little variation there. Don't ever give up on the variation. If you've never tried writing with Finale without a piano and just putting notes in one by one, you should try it sometime. There's something oddly satisfying about it. Just one note at a time. It's like driving a stick shift. Where you have absolutely control. Yeah, it's a bit much, but I like it. Just the character of it, where it's just constantly there, you know, it's just like creeping up on you. Love it. That's a nice little outburst. For the brevity of the composition, we'll keep it so that it's a 3-voice fugue. So I really like this motive right here. Alright, now I'm just showing off. This is beautiful. 4, 6. Well, why do I keep going there? Okay. Highlight those. Keep them with the tenuto. So this is basically where the fugue's gonna present its first episode. And with that, I want to take a phrase that was generated at atonalfugue.com. Let's walk through it. So we have this set here, and it's in its non-home position. Sync with theory. Go up here. I want it for 2 voices. Structural complexity. I don't want it structurally complex. I want to turn gravity well influence all the way to the top. We're at 52, so we'll match it to a slow tempo. Keep it nice and short with minimal rhythmic complexity. So it generated a fugue here, and let's export it as MIDI. And then we'll go back to finale. We are going to open from downloads this little fractal fugue here. Tracks become staves, blah blah blah. The reason why I wanted to do this is because it has these really nice triplet rhythms that just carry over the bar for like no reason. You see it gets more complex here. And yes, my website did just write an atonal fugue, which is pretty cool. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it sometimes. So we go here, let's find a nice phrase. I like this phrase right here. This phrase right here, one, like 4 bars or something. Now, this goes completely against Mason's teachings, which is okay, you know, but what are you gonna do, you know? There it is. That's kind of what I'm going for here, you know? Give or take a few notes. So we are basically going to erase some notes here. I mean, if it wasn't complex enough, it is now, you know. Did it. That's what that's going to sound like. Did it. Give it some swing. Even if it don't got swing, it means a thing, I guess. Give it some swing. Some swing. Swing. And swing. Okay. That looks good to me. So what I want to do is take that also, make that tenuto, staccato, estanudo. So we'll just do that. You notice how we have this pattern here? I just thought this was absolutely clever. It's like a barbasol moving up. Is that only 3? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Love the texture that this is creating. You know. Alright. We'll come over here. We'll take the fugue subject and all that. And we will go back in the fugue as if nothing happened at all. This time, I kind of want to take the top part, put it on the bottom, down an octave. That's a good range. Take the bottom part, I know, I ruined it. I know. Then we transpose this up an octave. And that I want to remove this subtle detail. It's unique but effective, I guess. When it comes back in, usually in a fugue, you want to modulate. So in this case, 0, 1, 2, 4, 6, 9 is 1. 1. I'm just finding the differences of the array. 2 and 1. So with that said, smallest difference is right here, where it's 1. So we're going to take 0, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, minus 1 in modulo, okay? Modulo 12, mod 12. So it'll be 11, 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, then 8. With that said, the first node is 11. That's how we got this right here, by the way. 11, 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. You know what? Let's go to the mean pitch, which was 4. Remember that? So we'll just transpose this up a third, down a third, down a sixth. Up a third. Sort of. Yeah, it needs that change in sonority to keep it interesting. Alright, here comes the loud part, so watch your ears. I like it. That happened because I did not transpose it chromatically, but I like it. It's a happy little tree, I guess. So we'll come here. And we have to come up with another subject. I don't feel like thinking. Here's my uncanny fugue. This is a pretty cool fugue. Oh, right. We were supposed to combine tonality with serialism. Well, too late for that, I guess. I'm sorry if you've listened that long and you're like, all right, we're going to combine tonality with serialism. Well, you know what? That's very hard, and I somehow lost interest. So I'm sorry. Let's see. Let's make subject material out of this. It's kind of like in the middle of a phrase. I like it. I'm not even going to change that. That was cool. So, with that said, we can come back to the original fugue here. Original subject and all that. Put that there. And yes, we would come back to the original pitch class right there. But let's take it down a half step. So we're not starting on C. Alright. This is important. I definitely... What is that? What is that? I don't know. What is that? C? I want to carry this chord over. Give it some ambiguity on where the downbeat is. Oh, you can't do that. Because it's in the second layer. Let's take this note. Uh-oh. Huh. Let's just take layer 2. Put in the layer 1. And we'll just get rid of that. Expectation. So we'll carry this over. That's kind of cool. I didn't expect it to go all the way in there like that. Alright, let's cadence this thing out. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know. I like that. I like that shape. That's the one right there. And we'll do our motion upwards. Nice whole tone scale up. Stack these whole tones. Cool. Release. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. One thing that's breaking is the dynamics, because we brought code or music from another composition. All right, that's kind of cool. The ending, huh? Not what? Let's do that. We'll put on this one. Tenuto. This one. D. D. Yep. So percussive feature. Almost sounds like it needs another note, but that's just me wanting to compose more. Alright, so that concludes this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.